Good, good day. My name is Lee Stockner. I'm your director for Region 3 for at least another year, and I've been asked to speak during the luncheon portion of today's workshop, and I want to share with you some of the things that I have seen and I've learned in my too many years with the IEEE. One of the things I did before becoming director was I spent 6 years sort of rebuilding the membership development program within the IEEE. And one of the things that I found right off the bat was that most members did not know the wide range of benefits that the IEEE offers for what you pay for your annual membership dues. And the answer is that if members knew more about what we have created as personal resources, online resources, group resources, all of a sudden that membership fee becomes almost trivial. You get a lot of value. So as part of today's takeaways, and that's probably the essence of my presentation today, is to remind you of all the things that we do have that you can utilize right now. Not in 6 months, not next year when some team of volunteers gets together, but resources you can tap right now. Starting with, if you look around the room here in Cocoa Village, as well as the rooms that are in North Carolina, Florida, other states around the region that are viewing this right now, you've got peers in the room. This is your IEEE network. This network has grown to 400,000 worldwide, and you can tap the worldwide network as we continue to talk in this Employment Assistance Project, and we members help each other. Most of us have jobs, some of us don't, and by the network working together, then we can look out for each other. One of the things I want to highlight, and I don't see how well the camera is seeing this today, but there is a sheet that's double-sided called IEEE membership. And the folks in this room today have this sheet, and this sheet does a pretty good job of listing what we have in terms of member benefits. And let me pause for a second and put on a wireless mic. Is that better for the room? Can you hear me better? Good. Back to the membership sheet. If you keep anything, we've got lots of these outside, and I encourage you to take them back to your next section meeting. This sheet outlines benefits that we've got already organized and or provided cost to the members who know about them. On the back side is a set of URLs that take you directly to the various surveys, online data, and other things that will help you as you target companies, as you prep yourself to better produce a resume or conduct yourself at that elevator pitch or that one-on-one interview. And these URLs should be your short list of tools and other resources that will help you get there. To the people that are remote to this presentation, just before I started, I sent 3 URLs that you need to write down and make use of. The first URL is the Region 3 Employment Assistance website. The folks in the room here in Cocoa Village can see it on a flip chart, and they'll need to write it down today before you go home. This is a source of employment information that's been regionalized, if you will, for we Region 3 members. Yes, it's got all the URLs that are on that membership sheet that's been produced for IEEE worldwide, but it also has resources for members here in the Southeast that would take you to customized sources of data on a state-by-state basis that says if you're in Virginia or Florida or Mississippi, here are some URLs to get you started in conducting a search of a potential company or an agency, even outside of the IEEE, that can help you in your job search. And the hidden jewel, I shouldn't say hidden jewel, but the golden jewel within this Region 3 website is a database that we have a license to use. We call it the company database. And what it will do is give you a chance to query by location companies that are most likely to hire you, an engineer. So take a look at this website, find that query form that allows you to say Tallahassee or Raleigh or other places, and you can configure it by city, MGA. You can configure it by zip code. Please don't ask for an entire state worth of data, because the database has a limit in terms of what it can produce at any one time, but make use of it. You don't have to wonder who's out there in your local area or in an area that is in another state. This database on the Region 3 Employment website will help you produce that target sheet, that target list, and by the end of today, yes, sir?
What exactly is the size of Region 3? What is it? How many states did you go up to? Make it a lift to New York, all the way up to Mississippi? What is Region 3?
Region 3 is the 10 southern states plus the island nation of Jamaica. This database is actually the entire US of A. So if you're saying, I live in Cocoa Village, I've been here 30 years, it's time to go to the West Coast, you can target companies in California. So it is our resource. Please make use of it. In terms of those 3 URLs, and I appreciate I haven't even started my presentation yet, we've talked about where to go to in Region 3 for custom information that I found just for us. And if you think of other information to add to this website, let me know, and we'll put it up. We've talked about the membership form, and you can download this form electronically off of the Region 3 website. And an action item I'll give everyone on this phone call is take this form and send it out to your entire section. Everyone needs to have it in their IEEE folder. Another URL is a survey. We initiated a survey about a month and a half ago of Region 3. All current members and former members are still in the database, and that equals about 40,000 people. This basic little survey, 5 questions plus a number 6 area for a free comment of what's on your mind. Ask the question, are you employed? It doesn't ask your name. It has several subcategories so we can determine if you were voluntarily unemployed or involuntarily unemployed, or you're higher grade or you're a student. But it asks the basic questions so we can develop some statistics. And the statistics thus far, based on polling 40,000 people and just over 1,000 responses, is 14% of us are unemployed. We asked the question, do you believe you're at risk in the next 1 to 2 years? And the answer was 24% of us are at risk. What does at risk mean? It means you're at your company and you're fully aware that things are changing. Your project is about to run out in 6 months and there's not a chance of it being renewed, or you hear that your company's about to relocate your operation to somewhere else. We'll put it that way. So we have 14% unemployed, 24 at risk. So bottom line, what we're doing today, we're going to keep doing for the rest of 2010, 2011, and until we reach a medium point where people are back to work. So the survey, and if you haven't taken the survey, please do. The more data we capture, the better we can target the sections around Region 3 in which we need to have a workshop like this and bring the team and do one-on-one discussions with the people in that section. And that's also a special request. If you're on this webcast today and you believe your section needs a drop-in workshop, let me know. My address is l.stogner, Stogner spelled S-T-O-G-N-E-R, at IEEE.org. And then the last URL is all the resources you're seeing here today. And again, this is a link I've sent out earlier, but we'll keep telling you if you've lost the email. There is a location online. It's called the Region 3 Online Community, in which we are storing a growing library of resources to help people who are in need of improving their career. Whether you're a student just starting out, or you're someone in mid-career like myself, where you're forced to react to actions beyond your control, like companies being shut down. I'll give you a good example. In 1993, the best company I've ever worked for, Digital Equipment Corporation, 150,000 employees, almost $14 billion in revenue, they got into a tailspin. And within a couple of years, they were either gone or the remaining portion of the company got bought by Compaq. So just because you believe you work with the best company in the whole world right now and they're making lots of money, make sure you make plans for the future. Things change. So for the folks in this room, the website address is listed on the flip chart. For the folks out there, I sent that address to you earlier. You will need to use your IEEE online web username and password to access these files. Don't go there one time and download things. Go there often. Between Lee and Charles Lord and Susan Romming and the rest of the IEEE XCOM in Region 3, we'll make it better and better. And we also invite your contributions to the Library of Employment Resources. And with all that having been said, let's start the presentation. First, the clicker. Oh, okay. About this session, and I'm going to zip through the first few slides because this is a presentation that was produced by Peggy Hugginson, and Tariq used it at the fall meeting in Atlanta 3 weeks ago. And Tariq, feel free to jump in and tell things better than me, and we're using it today. And we want you to look at this presentation and the hard copy you've got and the electronic copy you'll download, and ask yourself the questions after this presentation of where you're at and where do you think you want to go. Change. You heard me mention digital, giant corporation, incredible inside culture, but the world changed and they couldn't change fast enough and they don't exist. You see on this screen before you a lot of brand new companies that, quite frankly, did not exist 5 years ago, many of which did exist 2 years ago. Be attentive to these companies that are popping up and growing fast because they could be your best chance for the next job. But also understand that if you've been designing power supplies for 20 years and you love designing power supplies, you may not see a power supply company on this list. So bottom line, you need to adapt. Workplace changes. Some companies out there like to be very strict, keep you in your place. You do what I say today. Don't talk to the VP down the aisle, and you better deliver by the end of the day. A lot of these new companies are very flexible, quite understanding of people's needs and other requests. Those companies are still out there. And between us and the IEEE network, if you need help finding those companies, give us a call. Workplace changes. Once upon a time, all you had to do was earn that A, and you got rewarded for a long time. Not anymore. You're only as good as you were yesterday, and by the end of the day, what did you do for me today? Offshoring and engineering careers. Your job is less subject to offshoring if it requires local knowledge, utilizes analytical skills, or 3, improves with increased face time. I'll give you 2 examples. My daughter graduated from Clemson a year and a half ago. She's presently employed. And I think one of the real reasons she's employed is her dad, 5 years ago, when she was trying to decide on a career, gave her some advice. Given the change in the world today, You need to do a job that can't be done from some far-off land. It can't be offshored. So based on her skill sets and her good grades, we picked out nursing. And consequently, she's a nurse with a degree, a nurse with a certification, and she's doing quite fine at a prestigious hospital back in South Carolina. To do and be a nurse, you have to touch the patient. You can't do that on far-off land. And that example can fit a lot of engineering-type jobs as well. It's also, for her, a career that has a future. She could be an RN now, and if she studies and passes the next level of exam and gets the experience, she could be a nurse practitioner or a doctor someday. So, career paths aren't over, and that's why I'm saying this. Look at where you're at right now, what you know, and what the world is asking for. Understand the potential mismatch. Go learn those skills, extend your network in that direction, and get going. What we do is changing. We are separating careers from organizations where we work. We'll master one field and then move to another, and we'll have jobs that don't exist today. I've got a headhunter friend, and one of the things that he tells his customers, if you will, is that stop looking for your old job you were so happy in. That job's gone. The world changed. Let's go find the next job. The results are not enough. People can feel disconnected. Talent management efforts are among the most important initiatives in organizations today, and there's a growing recognition that people are the only sustainable competitive advantage. But that's only if you've got the skill that they believe they need to buy. What people say they want at work. Opportunity, okay? People who care about me as a person. Competent supervisors. Opportunities to grow, learn, and develop. Employee-friendly environments, and socially responsible organizations, and fun. Tariq, where this slide came from? This came from Peggy. She's an HR person, right? Okay. This is true. We can strive for these types of things, but bottom line, employers are going to look at you across the table and say, can I make money on you? If I can, I might hire you. If I can't, who's next? A real professional. You've got to be a professional that you're turned on all the time, if you will. You've got to be Mr. or Ms. Professional all the time at work because people are always watching. You've got to make sure that, let me back up. Don't brag about your expertise, but make sure people understand you're good. And that if they keep you, if they allow you to grow in the organization, you'll deliver back to them. And what makes it stand out? Writing for publications, conferences, volunteering for the IEEE. A real professional does a lot of things, not just simply work till 5 and go home and do it again tomorrow. What do you bring to work? This is a checklist, if you will. Competence, which breaks down into knowledge, skills, and attributes. Values, preference in work environment, style of supervision, challenges. Number 3, interest. People, data, things, ideas. You got to be better than the next person. And don't be ashamed to share that you're good. Transferable skills. And Peggy believes there are only 2 universally transferable skills. Number 1, interpersonal skills. Are you closed up as an engineer and you work on work, and when you're done, they decide whether they need you for the next project? Or are you outgoing, willing to say, I'll do more on this project than I did before, and keep expanding your reach in terms of the team at work, the industry beyond work, and your profession itself. Creativity. Are you still designing those same old power supplies you started with 20 years ago, or are you designing things that fit that group of companies we saw a few slides back? Interpersonal skills. You got to be authentic. You can't be that person you hate to walk down the hall and say morning to. You've got to be real. You be willing to share who you are in terms of being articulate, in terms of speaking, writing, and representing you and your organization. And you got to be confident. You can't hedge, or people will see it and you'll lose a few points. Creativity, to quote Daniel Pink, so essential in today's world that saying this has become trite in some areas. So you've got to be quick, dramatic, careful and quiet. Again, the world wants to know, can I make any money off of you before they hire you? Career orientations, so you can get ahead, be secure, free, challenged, balanced. Success and fulfillment. And that slide did not come up. Alignment. We said be authentic, don't be fake either. So you make sure that what you project as yourself in your career reflects your competencies, your values, your interests, your passions, the goals of you, and that business you're trying to impress as well. Align with the market. Again, you got to be able to sell, or should say pitch and sell and deliver what companies want to buy right now and buy next year as well. IEEE survey. This got back to what was said earlier. Networking is the #1 best way to shorten the time that you're unemployed. I can't tell you how many engineers come to us and say, I just got laid off, can you help me? And we don't ask this question, but we're thinking, where were you the past 20 years when you should have been coming to IEEE meetings, volunteering for IEEE activities, and building that network such that somebody knows who you are. Outplacement services can shorten unemployment periods, but you've got to be a bit wary, and you've got to be able to adapt. So, bottom line, you got to network, and don't wait till you're unemployed. Here's a question for you. Can you name 3 products or services offered to help IEEE members with your career? And this becomes the crux of what I'm trying to deliver today during lunch. These are the things that a lot of good folks like George McClure and Charles Lord and the team have developed over the years that can benefit you starting today. Professional activities, PACE, P-A-C-E. These are projects that are done all over not only Region 3, but all over Regions 1 through 6, which is the US of A, and they deal with employment assistance, career development, enhancing business. So projects like you see today are PACE projects. They get funding because it's the right thing to do, and they're delivered at the section level, the region level, at the annual meeting of the IEEE USA. A lot of delivery, such as you see today, goes on, and you should take advantage of it. Career Navigator. This is one of the links, you can see it, that's on not only this sheet, but also on the Central Region 3 Employment website that points you to all of these online resources that we've mentioned today, as well as a whole lot more. What do we mean by employment assistance? Are we going to get you a job? The answer is no, but we're going to teach you how to fish. Online job search. Jibber-jobber, one of those neato things that scans the whole world of information and organizes it into information that you can use. Are you going to sit down and look at 5 million jobs? No. But what it will reveal to you are trends. How many people are being hired because of this skill set or that skill set? And those skill sets are an accurate, up-to-date indication of what people are hiring. And if you try to get that information out of a book or an old conference, the world changes. And since this is online and it's gathering data today, well, you know what they need tomorrow. The salary service. These are surveys that are being done constantly by the IEEE, and it will give you good feedback as to what engineers are being paid. That way you can ask for what you're worth, and also don't get cheated on if the average wage in an area is this much and the company offers this much. The Engineer's Guide to Lifelong Employability. This is one of a number of books that IEEE USA and the volunteers have developed that will allow you to answer a lot of questions for yourself because, frankly, they've been asked before. So I encourage you to borrow these books from your local section library or download them for a real cheap price from IEEE USA and do some study. Reinforce what you've learned today. And here are some of the ebooks that you can download and answer those questions. You know, oftentimes people won't raise their hand in a group setting like this today because they embarrass themselves. Please, we've all been unemployed, including myself. So ask those questions before you leave today, and questions that you didn't think of or the time ran out. A lot of the answers are in these books, so please make good use of them. Webinars. Webinars are given how many times a year, Vin? Frequently. You can live anywhere. You got to be an IEEE member to really make maximum use of them, but they're out there. They cover these skills. We haven't done a lot of resume writing or practicing today in terms of interview skills, but the books, the webinars can focus on that. Just think how good you could be at an elevator pitch if we spent an entire day or a morning letting you get in front of a camera and trusted friends and let you practice. Stick with the IEEE. We'll give you that practice. Career development. Another book. We call it the field book, Beyond Job Satisfaction. Again, another good book to answer questions that you got and we all have. Here's a book every single one of us need to download. It's sort of a workbook. It asks the questions, the right questions, in the right order, and you got to fill it out. You keep these answers to yourself. This is your book, and it allows you to ask questions in a way that you build a picture of yourself. You understand where you're at, and it challenges you to determine where you think you really want to go. So this is an exercise that every single one of us need to do. I've done it multiple times. Enhancing business through consulting, entrepreneurship, innovation. Charles, you're going to hammer on this topic after lunch, right? Charles is a living proof of how, I hate to say it, the world changes faster than you, and Charles adapted. And now he is a entrepreneur, right, Charles? IEEE wants to help those of us who don't want to work for companies but want to be consultants. You know, don't go to that great big place down the street anymore, but you want to give yourself a chance to prove who you are to yourself. So there's a consulting network, there is a consultants database, and there are workshops that will get you going. I mean, to simply say, because you're unemployed at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon from a company, that I'll have my own company by Monday morning. Well, you can say that, but frankly, there's a whole lot of things you haven't thought of yet. So the resources you see on this screen and online and from people like Charles can help you not make mistakes that a lot of folks make that first week, that first month, and certainly that first year. The Innovation Institute, again, IEEE USA forums in which people who have ideas can get together with other people, swap them, share them, learn from each other. If you think you've got a great idea, go let some honest people give you some feedback. Final thoughts. Here's a Venn diagram. We saw this back in high school algebra. It's a blend. If you want to have success and fulfillment, it's a blend of competency, organizational need, and you gotta have passion. If you don't believe in what you're doing or about to do, you're gonna fail. Acknowledgement. Many thanks to Peggy. He's our HR friend, she is rather. Scott Grayson, IEEE staffer back in Washington. And by the way, Scott is available to work with you, answer questions, and help identify resources that I never got around to today. But, and also the IEEE USA Employment and Career Services Committee. Committee members here in the room, please raise your hand so they'll know who you are. Charles, Ed, The other Ed? Here are the folks, here are the volunteers within the IEEE network that have taken the time out of their lives to package all this stuff along with other people such that it benefits you, the member. It's one of the best benefits you'll ever find in an organization like the IEEE. How long do we have for questions? We got a few. What you got? Yes, sir.
I'm a member of the Chemical Engineering Society. How can I access these same materials?
How can you what?
Access these materials. And are you sharing this with other engineering societies?
The answer is you have access. We prefer you be an IEEE member. We hope you join the IEEE. But yeah, you can access it. I take that back. The online material is, you got to be an IEEE member to have an IEEE web account. But certainly, information that is on this site is available. Who else has got a question? Yes, sir. Ma'am. I'm middle-aged. Talk loud.
Is there any information for managing finances, like as you transition with your IRA?
Say it again.
IRA, aside from managing IRA money as you try and get.
George McClure, that's an excellent question for you. See George over there? He has amassed a lot of information about his peers understanding. I'm making money. How do I save it to keep as much as I need to live on and retire? George is our financial planning guru. Who else has a question? Any questions from the field? John? Any questions? We got a couple of minutes.
Actually, Lee, if I could just say something to reinforce what you said. You know, after this meeting is over and all of the great speakers that we've had here go home, what we're left with is the local section. And what we really want is for this to be an introduction into what IEEE can do to help with career management, employee assistance stuff. And we, the local sections that are hosting this meeting, are going to be here to continue on. You know, we don't want this to just be something where you go home and that's it, and yeah, it was a nice day. No, this is an ongoing process. So, you know, you do have local resources. We are here, you know, all of our contact info, for instance, in our section is IEEEmelbourne.org. You have all of our contact information, and, you know, please use it because we do want to help. So,
an idea for a section meeting after today. There's a set of slides in the online community that we're not using today. This is set based on networking skills. Specifically, what tools, what approach you should take in order to meet the right person who might hire you next. So take those slides, make it into a section meeting or a section Saturday morning workshop, and let people learn the procedures and then practice. Other questions? If you think of more, we're here all day. If you think of them next week, you've got my email address. Yes, ma'am?
What about temporary agents? I don't think anybody has addressed that. We talked about the headhunters.
Several ways I can answer that. Temp agencies can help you make money if you right now to get a mortgage. There's nothing wrong with it. But it also does something else for you. It gets you a door. If the temp agency allows you to get inside a high-tech company ABC for 6 months, we'll see how good you are. And you stand a chance of upgrading to full-time at the end of the contract.
Any advice on how to find them?
How do you find agencies?
Or how do you screen them? How do you know which one would be better or good for your particular area?
Go to that section meeting and ask in the crowd, have you used someone? And the answer should be, don't use an agency here in this area. And you've got I apologize to the folks out in the rest of the region. We just had a question about temp agencies. Should we use them? And the answer is, yeah. If you need it for money to pay the mortgage, you've got no choice. But if they do place you into a company that you'd like to work for a long term, well, that assignment will open the door. Give them some exposure to how good you are. Time for like 2 more questions. Yes, sir.
Well, to add on to that, it's very difficult for those temp agencies to have a contract with a company that gives the company the right to hire after some period of time, like 3, 6, 9 months. So it is a try before you buy insurance for a company.
If you're online right now and you've got a question, please send it in, and John will relay the question to me. They must have gone to lunch. Bottom line, we want to help. Specifically, I want to teach you how to hunt. And that slide set that you can download offline, that slide set that Ed Kirsch is going to allow you to practice through and with, will help you get there. And with that, Ed, who's next?
Couple minutes.